Hey Mia, so good morning. You're gonna be having, continuation of stage 6, right? Full stage revision. Ready?
Okay.
Yeah, let's start our day with Callan. Okay, so this is a very good breakfast. Yes, and because it's breakfast time, let's ask this question. What do we employ to cut bread? What do we employ to cut bread? We
We
employ a
employ
knife
a knife
to cut
to cut
bread.
bread.
Yeah, what do we call a person who employs somebody to work for them? What do we call a person who employs somebody to work for them? We call a
We call a
person
person
who
who
employs
employs
somebody
somebody
to work
to
for
work
them
for
and
them and
employer.
employer.
Yeah, and what do we call the person who works for them? And what do we call the person who works for them? We call the
We call a
person
person
who works
who
for
works
them
for them
an employee.
an employee.
Yep, that's correct. And there are a lot of machines in a factory. Are there a lot of machines in a factory? Yes, there are a lot
Yes,
of
there are a lot of
machines
machines
in a
in a
factory.
factory.
Yep, so what do we use a cash machine for? What do we use a cash machine for? We
We
use a
use a
cash
cash
machine
machine
for what?
for
For taking money
taking money
out of the bank
other
quickly,
other
out of the bank
the
quickly,
bank quickly
out of the
out of the
bank
bank
quickly
quickly
and easily.
and easily.
Yep. What could happen if you accidentally put a red sock in a washing machine with white clothes? Again, what could happen if you accidentally put a red sock in a washing machine with white clothes? If I
If I
accidentally
accidentally
put a red
put a
sock
red sock
in a
in
washing
a washing
machine
machine
with white
with white
clothes,
clothes,
I could
I
get
could
pink
get pink
clothes.
clothes. Nice.
My mama will be angry. I could get slapped. My mom turned like, you're not
Alrighty.
careful. I think I had it before with your t-shirt.
Oh yeah, you did.
I'm sorry for the sorry me. Okay, another I remember. So what are the three fronts of fly? What are the three fronts of fly? The
The
three
three
fronts of
phones of
flying
flyer,
are fly,
fly,
flew,
flew,
flown.
flown,
Yep, flown.
flown.
Flown. Okay, another. Have you ever flown in a plane? Have you ever flown in a plane? Yes,
Yes,
I've flown in a
I've
plane.
flown a plane.
In a
In
plane.
a plane.
Yep. So, are you good at drawing pictures? Are you good at drawing pictures? Yes, no. No, I'm not
No,
good at
I'm not
drawing
good at
pictures.
drawing pictures.
Yeah, wrong question. It should be, are you good at copying pictures?
Yeah.
Copy, copy. Yeah, another. What do you mean by rough drawing? What do we mean by a rough drawing? By a rough
By a rough
drawing,
drawing,
we mean a
we
very
mean a very
simple
simple
drawing.
drawing.
Yeah, what is the easiest way to draw out cash? What is the easiest way to draw out cash? The
The
easiest way
easiest way
to draw
to
out
draw a
cash
cash
is to
is
use
to
a
use a
bank card
bank
in a
card in a
cash machine.
cash machine.
Yep. So what does to draw the curtains mean? Again, what does to draw the curtains mean? To draw
To
the
draw the
curtains
curtains
means
means
to pull
to pull
them
them
open or
open or
closed.
closed.
Okay, let's move down here. When your eyes are like the page, another. How do you form the perfect continuous tenses? How do we form the perfect continuous tenses? We form the
We form the
perfect
perfect continuous tenses,
perfect
perfect
continuous tenses
continuous tenses
by using the
by
verb
using the
have,
verb have,
the word
the
been,
word
and
been, and
the present
the present
participle of
participle of
the main
the
verb.
main verb.
Give an examples. Give an examples. I have
I
been
have been
studying for
studying for 2
2 hours.
hours.
Yep, an example. Another, what do we use the present perfect continuous? When do we use the present perfect continuous? We use
We
the
use the
present
present
perfect
perfect
continuous
continuous
to say
to
how
say
long an
how long an
action
action
has been in
has been in
progress
progress
so far.
so far.
Yep, so good example. Let's give an example. Is I have been
I have
living in
been
this
living
house in this
in
house
this house
for 6 months so
for
far.
6 months so far.
Months so
Months
far.
so far.
Yep, so what do we use the past perfect continuous? What do we use the past perfect continuous? We use
We
the
use
past
the past
perfect
perfect continuous
continuous to
to
communicate the
communicate the
duration
duration
of an
of an
action
action
up to a
up to
particular
a
point
particular
in
point
the
in the
past.
past.
Give an example. Give an example. Is I had
I
been
had
living
been living in
in
this
this house,
house,
in this
in
house
this house
for one
for
month
1 month
when I bought my
when I
new bed.
bought my new bed.
Yep. So what do we use the future perfect continuous? What do we use the future perfect continuous? We use
We
the
use the
future
future
perfect
perfect continuous
continuous to
to
communicate the
communicate the
duration
duration
of an
of an
action,
action,
duration of an
duration
action
and duration of an action
up to a
up
particular
to a
point
particular point
in the
in
future.
the future.
Give an example. Give an example. Is I will have
I will
been
have been
living
living
in this
in
house
this
for eight
house for
months
8 months,
at
8 months
at the end of
at the
this
end
year.
of this year.
Yep. How long had you been sitting in that room for when I came in? How long had you been sitting in that room for when I came in? I had
I
been
have
sitting in
been
this
sitting
room
in this room
for about
for about an
uh,
hour
When you came
when
in.
you came in.
Yep. Since when have you been studying English? Since when have you been studying English? I've been studying
I've been
English
studying
since.
English since
What?
I was 3 years old.
Wow, so nice. Me when I was 1 month. 1 month old. Okay, another. So how long will you have been living in that place for when this year ends? 2021. So how long will you have been living in that place for when this year ends? I'll have been
I'll
living in
have
this
been
place
living in this
for
place
about
for about
how long?
8 years
When this year
when
ends.
this year ends.
Since when? Since when? Since
Since 2000 and when?
hmm?
-8.
when
13.
since when? Mathematics. Suddenly, oh my gosh. Yeah, automatic. Like another, what is the difference between saying I have been living here for 2 months and I have lived here for 2 months? Again, what is the difference between saying I have been living here for 2 months and I have lived here for 2 months? There is no
There's
important
no important
difference
difference
between saying
between
I have
saying
been
I have
living
been
here
living here
for two
for
months
2
and
months and
I have
I
lived
have
here
lived
for
here for 2
2
months.
months. Yep. Who was the last ruler of your country? Who was the last ruler of your country? The last
The
ruler.
last ruler,
No, ruler. The last
the
ruler
last
of my
ruler of
country
my country
was
was
Mr. Abe.
Mr. Abe.
Hi, Mr. Abe. Yeah, could you draw a completely straight line without the help of a ruler? Again, could you draw a completely straight line without the help of a ruler? No, I
No,
couldn't
I
draw
couldn't draw
a
a
completely straight
completely
line
straight line
without the help
without the
of
help of
a ruler.
a ruler.
I can help you. A ruler. Straight, right? Okay, another. General speaking, what is the difference between Earth and world? Dun-dun-dun-dun. General speaking, what is the difference between Earth and world? General speaking,
Generally speaking,
the difference
the
between
difference
Earth
between
and
Earth and
world is that
world is that
we use the
we
word
use the
Earth
word Earth
in the
in
astronomical
the
sense,
in the
sense,
astronomical sense
and world in
and
the
world in the
geographical sense.
geographical sense.
Yeah, if you're really good at math, how far is the Earth from the sun? How far is the Earth from the sun? The Earth's
The
about
no,
the Earth's
the
about
Earth's about
how far? It's okay, I can help you. 93 million
93
miles
million miles
from the sun.
from the sun.
Yeah, I just studied it. And I'm a scientist. Oh, darn. Okay, what's mud? What's mud? Mud's a
That's a
mixture of
mixture of
earth and
earth and
water.
water.
Yep. By what means can we draw a straight line? By what means can we draw a straight line? We can
We
draw a
can
straight
draw a
line
straight line
by means
by
of a pen,
by
means of a pen,
means of a pen
or a
or
pencil
a
and
pencil and
a ruler.
a ruler.
Yep. So by what means do you come to school? An example, by what means do you come to school? I come to school
I come
by
to school by train, bus,
train. Okay,
train,
by bus, by
by
train,
train, on foot,
etc.
etc.
We forgot bicycle. I like bicycle too. Okay, another. Would you rather have your own means of transport, Mia, than use public transport? If only. So, would you rather have your own means of transport than use public transport? Yes, no?
Yes,
Yes, I'd rather have
I'd
my.
rather
I'd
I
rather
I'd
have
rather
my
I'd rather have my
my own
own
means of
means of
transport
transport
than use public
than
transport.
use public transport
Why? Why? Because
because
it's what? It's more
it's
convenient.
more convenient.
Yes, I think so. If no traffic, right? No lining. Another, as a means of making money, what would you say was the best way? As a means of making money, what would you say was the best way? As a means
As a
of
means
making
of
money,
making money,
I'd say the
I
best way
say
was
the best way was
what?
to work harder and harder
Yes,
and harder.
endless guys, harder and harder. Okay, another. What about this one? What is the best way to maintain a good figure? Okay, let me ask you. What is the best way to maintain a good figure? The best
The
way to
best way to
maintain
maintain
a good
a good
figure
figure
is
is to exercise. No, and to eat
exercise.
vegetables.
Do you?
Yeah, you should.
You should. Okay, I should, not you should.
And
Why not?
I like snacks, you know.
Hmm. Good thing you put snack because you say I likes. I like snakes. Okay, safe. Okay, another. Who do you think was the greatest figure in history? Who do you think was the greatest figure in history? I think
I think
Einstein
was
the greatest
the
figure.
greatest figure.
Greatest figure in
Huh?
greatest figure
Greatest
in
figure in
history.
history.
Yep. Another. How many figures are there in the number of your house? Mine is 3. What about you? How many figures are there in the number of your house? There are.
There.
How many figures? 2 figures in the
in
number
the number
of my
of my
house.
house.
One for me, one for you too. What kind of figure am I drawing in the air with my finger? What kind of figure am I drawing in the air with my finger? You're
You're
drawing
drawing a circle
in the air
in
with
the
your
air with your
finger.
finger.
Is it a perfect circle? Maybe it's oval. Okay, another. Okay, so if a couple cannot have a child, what can they do? If a couple cannot have a child, what can they do? If a couple
If a
can't have a
couple can't have a
child,
child,
they can
they
adopt
can
one.
adopt one.
I can have one. I will choose. Oh, I will choose. What's that menu? Okay, another. If you went to live in another country, do you think you would quickly adapt the way of living in another country or in that country? Again, if you went to live in another country, do you think you would quickly adapt the way of living in that country? Yes, no,
Not sure.
no. If I went to
If I
live
went to live
in another
in
country,
another country,
I don't
I
think
don't
I'd
think
quickly adopt.
I quickly adopt.
I'd quickly
I'd
adopt
quickly adopt
the way of
the way
living
of
in that
living in that
country.
country
Why not? Why not? Because
because
it's very difficult for
it's
me to adjust.
very difficult for me to adjust their
living
cultures.
living with other people,
With with the
other
people
and their
and
culture.
their cultures.
And it's very hot in the Philippines too. So if you come here, please bring your own fan. What do you mean own fan? Yeah, right. Okay. Anyways, that's just an example, guys. Right. Okay. So who do you think was the cruelest character in history? Okay, not now. Who do you think was the cruelest character in history? I think.
I think you.
Excuse me, I'm millennial. Okay, maybe my answer, my me before. Okay, one example. Okay, me guys. I mean, I'm from the 15th century. Okay, I think
I
you
think you
were the
were
cruelest
the
character
cruelest character
in
in
history.
history.
Yeah, I've already forgiven her, guys. I've been preparing for this for 15 years, and so on. Okay, anyways, what's a college? What's a college? A
A
college is a kind
college
of
is a kind
school
of school
or part of a
or part of
university.
a university.
Yep. So this is a very good one. Another. If we put a piece of wood or paper into a flame, what happens to it? Again, if we put a piece of wood or paper into a flame, what happens to it? If we put a
If we
piece of
put a
wood
piece of wood
or
or
paper,
paper,
wood
wood
or
or
paper
paper
into a
into a
flame,
flame,
it
it
burns.
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 Another. What are the 3 forms of run? What 3 forms of run? The 3 forms
The
of
three
run
forms of run
are
are
run,
run, run,
ran,
run.
run. What's the furthest you've ever run? What's the furthest you've ever run? The
The
furthest I've ever
furthest I've
run
ever run
is 1 meter.
1 meter.
Toilet. Yeah, guys, she doesn't like standing up, guys. Haha, I could get even. This one you could get even. What does the verb to grow mean? What does the verb to grow mean? And the verb to
And
grow
the
means
verb to grow
means what in Japanese?
what is it?
I'm not sure. How do you
成長する
say? Huh?
Seichou
Yeah.
Remember now.
Yeah. Because I only know Shichi the dog. Shichi, so cute. Another. So what are the 3 forms of grow? What are the 3 forms of grow? The three
The three
forms of
forms of
grow
grow
are.
are grow, grew, grown.
Yep. At about what age does the average person stop growing physically? At about what age does the average person stop growing physically? The average
The
person
average person
stops growing
stops
physically
growing physically
at about,
at about. When do you stop?
generally speaking, in Japan. At about what age?
When
18, 19, 20,
18
18 years old.
years
Uh,
old. I don't
18.
know.
I stopped growing when I was in 2nd grade. Yeah, I was the tallest in the first grade, and then second grade I didn't anymore grow. So sad. Yeah, it's okay. I grew big.
In a different way.
Okay, guys, next question. So we'll go to another history again. And if you grew tired, what do you do? If you grew tired, what do you do? If I grew
If I grew
tired,
tired,
I go to bed
I
and
go
sleep
to bed and sleep
or sit down
or
and
sit
rest.
down and rest.
Yeah, what kind of food is grow most of all in that part? Or let's just, for example, not your country, this world. Again, what kind of food is grow most of all in this part of the world? The kind of
The kind
food
of food
that's grown
that
most of
grow
all,
most of all,
that's grown
that
most of all,
most of all, hmm?
that's
That's
grown most of
grown
all
most of all
in this part of
in
the
this
world
part of the
is
world is
rice, corn, which one? Choose
rice.
rice. Okay, another. In Japanese, again, what does the word matter mean? Like solid, liquid, or gas. So, what does the word matter mean? The word
The
matter
word matter
means.
means, what is
What?
it?
Hmm,
Hmm?
how do you say?
Monda?
In
In
Japanese.
Japanese.
Okay, so what kind of matter is this book made of? What kind of matter is this book made of? That book's made of
That
paper.
book's made of paper.
Yep, that's correct. In my mind, still Monday. Okay, another Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Wednesday. Australian.
Monday.
What does the word matter mean? Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Huh? Good day, mate. Again, another. Do you think that the possibility of another world war is a serious matter? Again, do you think that the possibility of another world war is a serious matter? Yes, I think
Yes, I
that the
think that
possibility
the possibility
of another
of
world
another
war
world war
is a
is a
serious matter.
serious matter.
Are you interested in political matters? Are you interested in political matters? Yes, no? No, I'm not
I'm
interested
not
in
interested in
political
political
matters.
matters.
Say
Uh,
it. Another. Let's see what they would expect. How long do you expect to continue living in the place where you live now? Again, how long do you expect to continue living in the place where you live now? I
I
expect to continue
expect to
living
continue living
in the place
in the
I live now.
place now
Where I live now
where I live now
for about 20
for
years.
about 20 years.
It's only an example. Again, another. So in a Callan Method lesson, do you expect the teacher to correct the student's mistakes? In a Callan Method lesson, do you expect the teacher to correct the student's mistakes? Yes, in a Callan
Yes,
Method
in
lesson,
a Callan Method lesson,
I
I
expect the
expect the
teacher to
teacher to
correct
correct
the
the
student's
students'
mistakes.
mistakes.
Yep. What do we use the tail question? What do we use the tail question? We use
We
a
use
tail
a tail
question
question
when we
when
believe
we believe
something is
something
true.
is true.
You're loading. Hello.
So
Hello.
slow.
Hello. Yeah. When we believe something is true
When we believe something is true
and we want
and we
somebody to
want somebody to
confirm
confirm
that we are
that we
right.
are right.
I am slow, guys, there, right?
No, you're okay
Again,
here.
I am.
Maybe just you.
I see, I see. No, 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 I'm okay here. Actually. Yeah, you know what I mean, guys. The system always says teacher's fault. You can relate. Okay, anyways. How do we form a tail question? How do we form a tail question? We form a
We
tail
form a tail
question
question
by
by
repeating the first
repeating the first
auxiliary verb
auxiliary verb
from the main part of the
from the main
sentence
part of the sentence
and putting it
and
in
putting
question
it in
form.
question form.
Putting it in
Putting it in
question form.
question form.
Another, give me an example. Let's give me examples. He is
He
going to
is
go out
going to
tonight.
go tonight.
Isn't he?
Is he?
Isn't he?
Isn't he?
Yep, that's correct. Isn't he? Wow. Again, right now I'll say something new and I want you to repeat it and add a tail question, okay? Remember that if the main part of the sentence is positive, of course the tail question is negative and vice versa, right? Okay, let's start. He is a young man. He is a young man. He is a young man.
He's a young man, isn't he?
Yep, he isn't a young man. He isn't a young man. He
He
isn't a young
isn't
man.
a young man, is he?
Is he? Is he?
Is he?
Okay, another. You've got a very nice kitchen. You've got a very nice kitchen. You've got a
You've
very
got
nice
a very
kitchen.
nice kitchen.
Haven't you?
you?
Haven't you? You haven't got a very nice kitchen. You haven't got a very nice kitchen. You haven't got a
You
very nice
haven't got a
kitchen.
very nice kitchen.
Have you?
Have you?
You know, like you can sing, you can sing, you can
You
sing.
can sing. Can't you?
You can sing, you can sing, you
You
can
can't
sing.
sing, can you?
Can you? Yeah, I cannot sing, guys. Yeah, she can. I know. Honest. Okay, he'll be afraid. He'll be afraid. He'll be
He'll be
afraid.
afraid.
Won't he?
Won't he?
Yep, another. He won't be afraid. He won't be afraid. He won't be
He won't be
afraid.
afraid, will he?
Yep, they would be hungry. They would be hungry. They would be
They
hungry.
would be hungry,
Wouldn't
wouldn't
they?
he? They.
Wouldn't they?
Wouldn't they?
It's like, you didn't hear that, guys. Again, no, they wouldn't be hungry. They wouldn't be hungry. They
They
wouldn't be
wouldn't be
hungry.
hungry, would they?
So let's move down. Another. When there is no auxiliary verb "me" in the main part of the sentence, which verb do we use in the tail question? Again, when there is no auxiliary verb in the main part of the sentence, which verb do we use in the tail question? When there is
When
no
there is no
auxiliary verb.
auxiliary verb.
When there is
no
auxiliary
auxiliary
verb
verb
in the main part
in
of
the
the
main part
sentence,
of the sentence,
we use do
we use do
in the tail
in the
question.
tail question.
Yep, giving examples, giving examples. They come
They
every
come
Thursday,
every Thursday,
don't they?
don't they?
Don't they? Lady. Again, another. If you had the right by law, me to do whatever you wished, what did you do? If you had the right by law to do whatever you wished, what did you do? If I had the
If I
right by
had the
law,
right below
by law,
by law
to do whatever I wished, to do
to
whatever I
do
wished,
whatever I wish,
I'd what?
What do you want to do?
I'd want to see you without passport.
Yay!
How about you? I'd wish to visit you with a passport. What about you?
Me too.
Are you too? She's really like clapping. She really likes clapping, guys. Oh my.
Yay!
Yay! Again, he's like, I'd wish me too, huh? Do you
You
mean
know
wish
what
me?
I mean.
Okay, guys, she and I and you guys know what she meant for that. Okay. Another. Do newspapers have the legal right to print stars that aren't true? Do newspapers have the legal right to print stars that aren't true? No,
No,
newspapers don't have the right.
newspapers don't have
Don't
the
have the
right,
legal
legal
right
right
to print
to
stars
print stars
that aren't true.
that aren't true.
You will do the right legal right. Yeah, I'm not yet done. Another. What is the difference between the words on and onto? What is the difference between the words on and onto? The
The
difference
difference
between
between
the words
the
on and
words on
onto
and onto
is
is
that
that
we can
we
use the
can
word
use the
on
word on
for things
for
that are
things that are
moving,
moving,
that are
that
moving
are
or
moving
still,
or still,
whereas we can
whereas
use
we
the
can
word
use the
onto
word onto
only for
only for
things
things
that are
that are
moving.
moving.
Yes, onto. Right? Another. Do you think you could jump onto the table with both your feet together? Do you think you could jump onto the table with both your feet together? Yes, I think
Yes,
I
I
could
think I
jump
could jump
onto the
onto the
table
table
with both
with
my feet
both my
together.
feet together.
She's really tall, guys.
Huh?
She's a basketball woman, player. Another. So, have you ever tried to do something like that? Have you ever tried to do something like that? Yes, I've tried
Yes,
to
I've
do
tried to do
something like
something
that.
like that.
No choice. Do you know how to tie a tie? Do you know how to tie a tie? Yes, no.
Yes,
I
I
know
know
how to
how to
tie a
tie
tie.
a tie.
Yep. She just cannot have guys answer. Only me to. It's okay. Only ask her now. In the past, was the government of a country generally elected by the people? Again, in the past, was the government of a country generally elected by the people? No, in the
No, in
past,
the past,
the
the
government of a
government of a country, eh?
of a country of a
of a
country
country
wasn't generally
wasn't
elected
generally
by
elected by
the people.
the people.
Yeah, because my headset cannot hear, not my ear. Again, what is the structure to have something then communicate? Again, what is the structure to have something then communicate? The
The
structure
structure
to have
to
something
have
done, something
something
done
done,
communicates that
communicates that
we don't do
we
the
don't do
action
the action
ourselves,
ourselves,
but that
but
somebody
that somebody
else does it
else
for
does
us.
it for us.
Yep, giving examples, giving examples. I don't
I
cut my
don't
hair
cut my hair
myself.
myself.
I have my
I
hair
have my
cut
hair
by
cut by
a
a
hairdresser.
hairdresser.
Well, Another, do you clean your shoes yourself or do you have them cleaned by someone else? Do you clean your shoes yourself or do you have them cleaned by someone else? Which one? I clean or
I
don't
clean
clean?
myself.
You
My,
clean yourself? I see.
my shoe
Me too.
myself.
I clean my shoes myself.
I clean my shoes myself.
The other person last time I shoes my clean myself, huh? Okay, I clean my shoes myself.
I clean my shoes myself.
Yeah, okay, another. So what can we use instead of the verb to have? What can we use instead of the verb to have? We can use
We
the
can
verb
use
to
the
get
verb to get
instead of the verb
instead
to
of the
have.
verb to have.
Do the young children sometimes get their homework done for them by their parents? No. Susan. Do very young children sometimes get their homework done for them by their parents? Yes, very young children
Very young
sometimes
children
sometimes
sometimes
get their
get
homework
their
done
homework done
for them
for them
by their
by
parents.
their parents. Oh, pretty nice. I don't.
Mm, me too. Oh, sweet. No one helps, Susan. Okay,
Just
another
help,
two. Yeah,
but don't.
don't do
Mm.
something like that. No. Don't be so deep. Okay, another. So, do you think governments generally have too much power? Do you think governments generally have too much power? Yes, I think
Yes, I think
governments
governments
generally have
generally have
too much
too
power.
much power.
Yep. Who do you think is the most powerful person in that country? Who do you think is the most powerful person in that country? I think the
I
prime
think the
minister
prime minister
is the most
the
powerful
most
person, powerful
powerful
person
person
in this
in this
country.
country.
Do laptops use more power than desktop computers? Do laptops use more power than desktop computers? No,
No,
laptops don't
laptops
use
don't use
more power
more
than
power
desktop
than the
computers.
desktop
Than
computers.
desktop computers.
Yep,
Me, do you spend all your money or do you try to save them and put it in the bank? Again, do you spend all your money or do you put or do you try to save some and put it in the bank? I spend or I
Yes,
don't spend. I don't
I
spend all
don't
my
spend all
money.
my money.
I try to
I
save
try to
some
save some
and put it in the bank.
and put it in the bank.
In the bank.
In the bank.
Where is that? Okay, another. If you saw someone in difficulty in the sea, how would you try to save their life? If you saw someone in difficulty in the sea, how would you try to save their life? If I saw
If I saw
someone
someone
in
in
difficulty in the
difficulty
sea,
in the sea,
I'd try to
I
save
try
their
to save
life
their life
by
by
what? Throwing an
throwing
inflatable
an
balloon.
inflatable
Inflatable balloon
balloon
or
or a
a wood,
wood
or I swim.
or I
I
swim
swim to save their
to
life.
save their lives.
Yeah,
Oh,
I'll just pray. Oh, I believe you can. I cannot swim. So sad.
just
Pray
use
for
the
you.
life jacket.
No, but there's no like that. Yep. Yeah, that's an on the spot incident. Anyways, another. What does an old man care to save himself from falling over while walking? And what does an old man care to save himself from falling over while walking? An old man
An old man
carries
carries
what?
walking sticks.
A
A
walking
walking stick
to save
to
himself
save
from
themselves
to
from
save
save himself from
falling over
falling over
while walking.
while walking.
Yep, would you save any time if you use the different means of transport to come to school, if not by bus, by train, or anything? Would you save any time if you use the different means of transport to come to school? Yes, no?
Yes.
Yes, I'd save
And
some
save
time
some time
if I use the
if I
different
use
means
the
of
different means of
transport
transport
to come to
to
school.
come to school.
Yep, when you close a computer program, does it usually remind you to save your work first? Like ting ting, that sound, right? When you close a computer program, does it usually remind you to save your work first? Yes, when I close
Yes,
a
when I
computer
close the
program,
computer program,
it usually
it
reminds
usually
me
reminds me
to save
to
my
save
work
my
first.
work first.
What kind of things does your country mainly trade in? What kind of things does your country mainly trade in? My country
My country
mainly
mainly
trades in
trades
cars.
in cards.
Yep. What do we usually mean by a trade? What do we usually mean by a trade? By a
By a
trade,
trade,
we
we
usually mean a
usually
job
mean a job
that a person
it,
does that a
that
person
a person
does
does
mainly with their
mainly with
hands
their hands
and for which
and
they
for
need
which
which they
they
need
need
they need
they need
a
a
special skill.
special skill.
Yeah, what is one of the best paid trades in your country? What is one of the best paid trades in your country? What are the best
One
paid
of the best paid
trades in my country?
trades in my
Paid
country
trades in my country
in my country
is which one?
is
What? Oh,
engineers.
engineers. Not car manufacturers. Okay, engineers. Why
Maybe.
not? Why not, right? Again, so what is the difference between the words close and close? Again, what's the difference between the words close and close? The
The
difference
difference
between
between
the words
the
close
words
and
close and
close
close
is that
is that
close
close
is
is
a verb
a verb
meaning
meaning
shut.
shut,
Yep, whereas close
whereas
is
close
an
is
adjective
an adjective
meaning
meaning
near.
near.
Yes, so what is the closest you've ever been to real danger? What is the closest you've ever been to real danger? The
The
closest I've ever
closest I've
been
ever been.
to
You've
a
ever been.
not you. Okay, you, okay. The
The
closest I've
closest
ever been
I've
I've
ever
ever been
been
to real danger
eh,
to real
to
danger
real danger
was when I cut
was when I
myself
cut myself
while cooking
while cooking
and chopping
and
something.
chopping something. Ooh.
Yes, I think that was right before when you could.
Mm. Mm.
Okay, another. If you went on a trip to New York, what would you see? If you went on a trip to New York, what would you see? If I went
If
on
I
a
went
trip
on a trip
to New
to New
York,
York,
I'd see the
I'd see
Statue of
this.
Liberty. I'd see the
I'd see the
Statue
Statue of
of Liberty,
Liberty,
etc.
etc.
Yep.
Mm.
You. In Canada, when people go on business trips, do their companies usually pay for everything. When people go on business trips, do their companies usually pay for everything. Yes, when
Yes, when
people
people
go on
go
business
on
trips,
business trips,
yep, their companies
the
usually
company
pay.
usually pay.
Companies usually
Companies
pay
usually pay
for everything.
for everything.
Yep, so which would you prefer? An exciting trip to a big city for the weekend or a quiet fortnight on a beach again? Or a quiet fortnight on the beach again? So which would you prefer? An exciting trip to a big city for the weekend or a quiet fortnight on the beach? I'd prefer
I'd prefer quiet
which one? A
fortnight, quiet
quiet,
fortnight,
quiet
quiet
fortnight
fortnight
on the
on the
beach.
beach.
Are you sure? The beach? Really? Okay, they said night. Okay, okay. But that means 14 days though, right? Okay, another. So what does the expression every now and again mean in Japanese? So what is the expression every now and again mean in Japanese? The
The
expression
expression
every now and
every now
again
and again
means what?
means
Mm.
taki
Oh, in Japanese.
in
In
Japanese.
Japanese. I see. I see the
No?
matter. I'm
Am
memorizing
I right?
everything. I memorizing the matters Monday and then
Taki.
the other ones.
Huh?
No, Tokidoki.
Toki.
Yeah, and what a PT was. How to say this one? What was what a
PT?
PT? What
Ah,
a PT before?
kawaiso.
Okay, so yeah, I'm remembering them, so that's why. Thanks. Another, is it a good idea to give one's house a thorough cleaning from top to bottom every now and again? Again, is it a good idea to give one's house a thorough cleaning from top to bottom every now and again? Yes, it's a good
Yes, it's a
idea
good idea
to give
to give
one's
one's
house
house
a thorough cleaning
for a
from
cleaning
a
from
thorough
a thorough
cleaning
cleaning
from
from
top to
top to
bottom
bottom
every now and
every
again.
now and again.
Yep. Another. So, what do you do with clothes that you no longer wear? What do you do with clothes that you no longer wear?
I
Donate clothes that I
donate
donate
clothes
clothes that I no
that I
longer
no
wear.
longer wear.
Yep, one example.
Mhm.
Another, what's an island? What's an island? An island is a piece of land
An island is a piece of land
completely surrounded
completely
by water.
surrounded by water.
Water. Yep. So name is some oceans. Please name is some oceans. Please. The names of
The
some
names of
oceans
some
are
oceans are
the Atlantic
the Atlantic
Ocean,
Ocean,
the Pacific
the Pacific
Ocean,
Ocean,
the
the
Pacific Ocean,
Pacific Ocean,
and the Indian
and the
Ocean.
Indian Ocean.
Ocean, ocean.
Ocean.
Another. I mean, do you prefer to watch films at home on DVDs or at the cinema on the big screen? You don't. Do you prefer to watch films at home on DVD or at the cinema on the big screen? I prefer
I
to watch
prefer to watch
films
films
on where? On DVD.
on DVD.
Yes, maybe nothing. Maybe YouTube. Not even one. Okay, another. Do you buy CDs and DVDs more often in the shops or online? Do you buy CDs and DVDs more often in the shops or online? I buy
I
CDs
buy
and
CDs and
DVDs more
DVDs
often.
more often.
Where? Online or in the shops?
Online.
Online. But you don't rate. Maybe Toik. Okay, another. So, yes, guys, she doesn't really like watching anything. She likes studying English. Okay, another. Oh, I agree. Whoo. Again. Whoo, only English. Yeah, kids can tell. Another, is it bad for your eyes to look at a computer screen for too long? Again, is it bad for your eyes to look at a computer screen for too long? Yes, it's bad
Yes,
for
it's
your
bad for
eyes
your eyes
to look at a
to look
computer
at a
screen
computer screen
for too long.
for too long.
You can close your eyes, guys. Okay, so what does your country produce? What does your country produce? My country
My country
produces
produces
cars.
cars.
Yep. What kind of things do people often boast about? What kind of things do people often boast about? People often boast
People
about.
often boast about.
Often boast
Often
about
boast about
their
their
jobs, things
jobs,
that they
things that
own,
they own,
etc.
etc.
Yeah, so guys, please don't boast too much. So only. Again, low-key. Another. Is wearing a tie a necessity for some occupations these days? Is wearing a tie a necessity for some occupations these days? Yes, wearing a
Yes,
tie
wearing a tie
is a
is a
necessity
necessity
for occupations these
for
days.
some occupation
These
these
days.
days.
Yep. Another. What is the most important difference between tell and say? What's the most important difference between tell and say? The most
The
important
most
difference
important difference
between tell and
between tell
say
and say
is that
is
after
that
tell,
after tell,
we indicate a
we
person,
indicate a
the
person,
the
the
person
person
we
we
are
are
speaking to.
speaking to.
But after say,
With after say,
but after
but
say,
after say,
we usually don't.
usually don't.
Yep. Give an example. To give an example, she told
She
him
told
that
him that
it was important.
he
It was
it
important.
was important.
She said it
She
was
said it
important.
was important.
Another. So after the verb say, she's so English. And again, another. After the verb say, how is it possible to indicate the person we are speaking to? After the verb say, how is it possible to indicate the person we are speaking to? After the verb
After the
say,
verb say,
it's possible
it's
to
possible
indicate
to
the person
indicate the person
we are
we
speaking
are
to
speaking to
by using
by
the word.
using the word to.
Yep, for direct speech, me, which word do we normally use? Say or tell. For direct speech, which verb do we normally use? Say or tell. For direct speech.
For direct
Direct
speech,
speech. Direct speech.
direct speech,
We normally
we
use
normally use
the verb
the
say.
verb say.
Give an example. Let's give an example. She
She
said,
said,
I'm hungry.
I'm hungry.
I always say. Okay, another. So which of these sentences is correct? He told me to go away, or he said me to go away. Which of these sentences is correct? He told me to go away, or he said to me, or he said me to go away. The first
The first
sentence,
sentence,
he told me to
he
go
told me
away,
to go
is
away, is
correct.
correct.
Yep. So what are the three forms of rise? What are the forms of rise? The three
The
forms
three
of
forms
rise
of
are
rise are
rise,
rise,
rose,
rose,
risen.
risen.
Yep. Yeah. Have you ever risen before the sun has risen? Have you ever risen before the sun has risen? Yes, I've
Yes, I've
sometimes
sometimes
risen
risen
before the sun
before the sun
has
has
risen.
risen.
Actually, guys, every day. Okay, another. So, what is the difference between to earn and to gain? What's the difference between to earn and to gain? The difference
The difference
between
between
to earn and
to
to
earn
gain
and
is
to
that
gain is that
to earn and
to
to
earn
gain
and to gain
is that the verb to
the
earn
verb to
generally
earn generally means
to receive
to receive
money
money
for work
for
done,
work done,
whereas the verb to
whereas the
gain
verb to gain
generally means
generally means
generally means
generally means
to get more
to
of
get
something
more
of
of
something.
something.
Yep, if you bought a business, there was a visitor, the mosquito, and everything. Again, if you bought a business for 4 million pounds and sold it later for half that amount, would you be gaining by doing so? Again, if you bought a business for 4 million pounds and sold it later for half that amount, would you be gaining by doing so? Yes, no, no. If I
No,
bought a
if I
business
bought a
for
business for
four million
four
pounds
million
and
pounds
sold it
and
later
sold it
for
later for
half that
half
amount,
that amount,
I wouldn't be
I
gaining by
wouldn't be
doing
gaining
so.
by doing so.
I'd be losing.
I'd be losing.
Yep. So how much would your loss be? How much would your loss be? My loss
My
would
loss
be
would be
2 million
200
pounds.
pounds.
2 million pounds.
2
Half that
million
amount.
pounds.
For sponsors. Okay, I'll share. Okay, another. Does your watch generally gain or lose time, or does it keep perfect time? Does your watch generally gain or lose time, or does it keep perfect time? My watch
My watch
generally
generally
what gain or keep or which one
keep
lose? Keep
keep
keeps
time,
its
keeps
keeps its perfect
its
time.
perfect time.
Okay,
Yay!
I think so. Advanced, even advanced. Another. What is the best way to gain friends? I'm not sure too. What is the best way to gain friends? The best
The
way
best way
to
to
gain
gain
friends
friends
is to be
is
nice
to
to
be
people.
nice to people.
Yes, I'm very shy, guys. Another. Me is not shy. Another. How long does it take the average student to get a degree at university in your country? How long does it take the average student to get a degree at university in your country? It takes
It
the
takes
average
the average
student. It
students.
takes the
It
average
takes
student
the average student
about
about
how
4
many years?
years
4 years to gain a
to gain a
degree
degree
at university in my
at
country.
university in my country.
Yep, so it's similar, same, right? And as regards learning a language, me, would you gain anything by going to the country where it was spoken? As regards learning a language, would you gain anything by going to the country where it was spoken? Yes, as
Yes,
regards
as
learning
regards learning
a
a
language,
language,
I'd gain
I'd gain
something
something
by going
by
to the
going to the
country
country
where it was
where
spoken.
it was
Spoken.
spoken.
Why? Why? Because I'd be able
Because
to
I'd be
speak
able to speak
the
the
language every day.
language every day.
Yep. So are there any marks on those walls? Your wall? Are there any marks on those walls? Yes, there are some
Yes,
marks
there's some marks
on these
on these
walls.
walls.
Yep. So what kind of marks are they? What kind of marks are they? They are
They're
stickers.
stickers. Yeah,
They're sticker marks. They're sticker
they're
marks.
sticker marks.
An example. Aha, you're thinking. Another, who marks your dictations? Who marks your dictations? I mark my dictation
I mark
myself.
my dictation myself.
Not dictations myself.
Dictations myself.
Yep. How many marks did you get in your last English exam? Again, how many marks did you get in your last English exam? I got. How many? 95? 94? 94, right?
94
94, right? Over 100?
of 100.
Yeah. Yeah, I got
I
94
got
marks
94
out
marks out
of
of
what? 100
100
in my last
in my
English
last
exam.
English exam.
Yeah, that was the EPT, right? Okay, another. So, which petrol company do you think is the most well-known trademark? Which petrol company do you think is the most well-known trademark? I think.
I think.
Which petrol company? Shell. Shell
Shell
has the
has
most
the most
well-known
well-known
trademark.
trademark.
Yep, you could also say Shell is a petrol company. Right. Okay, anyway, so only an example. Take a look at my book here. Again, guys, only an example. Okay. Okay, so what part of the book is this? What part of the book is this? It's the
It's the
bottom
bottom
of the book.
of the book.
Or, again,
Or
it's the bottom
it's the bottom
or the base of
or
the
the
book.
base of the book.
Yep, so what do you consider to be the basis of a good life, Mia? What do you consider to be the basis of a good life? I
I'd
consider.
consider
Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one? Which one? Happiness, money? Which one? Luck? Which one?
both happiness
Oh,
and money
to be the basis of
to
a
be
good
the
life. Basis of a good life.
basis of a good life.
Who agrees for this life? Okay, another. What about this one? Is it normal for language learners to continue making basic grammatical mistakes even though they know the rules? Again, is it normal for language learners to continue making basic grammatical mistakes even though they know the rules? Yes, it's
Yes,
normal
it's
for
normal for
language
language
learners
learners
to continue
to continue
making
making
basic grammatical mistakes. Basic
making
grammatical mistakes,
basic grammatical mistakes
even though they
even
know the
though they
rules.
know the rules.
Yep. So, what do you think is basically the difference between your language and English? Only example. So, what do you think? It's basically the difference between your own language and English. I think that
I think that
basically
basically
the difference
the difference
between
between
my own
my own
language
language
and
and
English is
English is
grammar.
grammar.
Yep. So, when you stay at a hotel for one night, does the price you pay usually include breakfast? Again, when you stay at a hotel for one night, does the price you pay usually include breakfast? Yes, no.
Maybe?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. So when I stay
When
at a
I
hotel,
stay at a
stay at a
hotel
hotel for one
for
night,
one night,
the price I
the
pay
price I pay
usually
usually
includes
includes
breakfast.
breakfast.
Includes
Includes
breakfast.
breakfast.
There was a big circle. Again, another. So what do we use to clean our shoes with? Again, what do we use to clean our shoes with? We use
We
a shoe
use a
brush
shoe brush
to clean
to
our shoes
clean our
with.
shoes with.
Yep. So what other kinds of brushes are there, Miu? What other kinds of brushes are there? There are hair brushes. There,
There are hair
there, there
brushes.
are, there
There
are
are
hair
hair
brushes,
brushes,
toothbrushes,
toothbrushes,
paint brushes, etc.
paintbrushes, etc.
Yep. Do you like what? Do you like to watch boxing? Do you like to watch boxing? Yes, no, no.
No,
I don't like to
I
watch
don't like to
boxing.
watch boxing
Why not? Why not? Because it's
because it's
what,
scary.
scary, or you
Mm,
could also say because it shows.
it shows
Because it shows
it
violence.
shows violence.
Your only example, right? It's fun. You did box me. Remember?
No, I
She's a
can't
good boxer, guy.
remember.
She's even a kick fighter, you know. Self defense. Okay, now what about this one? So, what type of film do you watch most? Do you? What type of film do you watch most? I watch
I watch
Disney movies
Disney
or
movies.
Disney films
Disney
most.
films.
Most.
Most.
The word.
Most.
Most. Yep. Again, I watch
I
Disney
watch
films
Disney
most.
films most.
Yeah, that's why, guys, she can sing. Yep. She likes high notes. Again, another. Can you type? Can you type? Yes, I can type. How many words a minute? How many words a minute? About
About
100 words a minute.
100 words a minute.
Yeah, you're a good typer though. Yep. Yeah, she can type my name, guys. My name. So sad. It's times 100, guys. Again, another. Have you met me on many previous occasions? Have you met me on many previous occasions? Yes, I've
Yes,
met
I've
you
met you
on many
on
previous
many previous
occasions.
occasions.
Yep. Did you have any previous experience with the Callan Method before you came here? Again, did you have any previous experience of the Callan Method before you came here? Yes, no? Did you have before? Not yet. No? So, no, I didn't have
I
any
didn't have any
previous
previous
experience of the
experience
Callan
of a
Method,
Callan Method.
of the
Of
Callan
that
Method
Callan Method
before I came
before
here.
I came here.
Yep. So, what do people often make videos of special occasions like weddings? Okay, what do people often make videos of special occasions like wedding? People often make videos of special
of special
occasions
occasions
like
like
weddings so that
weddings so that
they can
they
remember
can
them
remember them
better.
better.
Another. So, what do we mean by a strict plan of a town? What do we mean by a strict plan of a town? By a
By
strict
a
plan of a
straight
town,
plan of a town,
we mean a
we
map
mean a map shows
showing the
showing the
streets
streets
of the
of the
town
town
and their
and
names.
their names.
Yep. So, do you usually write your plans in a diary? Again, do you usually write your plans in a diary? Yes. No.
No,
No, I don't
I
usually
don't
write my
usually write
plans
my plans
in a
in
diary.
a diary.
You do in Twitter. Oh, okay, not always. Fine. Okay, do you think it's a good idea for teenagers to plan their futures, for example, while still at school? Do you think it's a good idea for teenagers to plan their futures while still at school? Yes, no?
Yes,
Yes, I think it's a
I
good
think
idea
it's a
for
good idea for
teenagers
teenagers
to plan their
to plan their
futures
futures
while still at
while
school.
still at school
Why? Why? Because
because
they have to be what?
they have to be
Prepared
prepared
for their future.
for their future.
Prepared for their future.
Prepared for their future.
Yes, even though they're young, right? Yeah, anyways, it's just a plan. Again, another, do you think a young person should be allowed to plan their own future without the interference of their parents? Again, do you think a young person should be allowed to plan their own future without the interference of their parents? Yes, no.
No,
No, I don't think a
I
young
don't think a
person
young person
should be allowed to
should be
plan their future,
allowed to,
allowed
allowed
to plan their
to
own
plan their
future
own future
without the interference of their parents.
without
The interference
interference
of their
of their
parents.
parents.
Why not? Why not? Because
Because
they might have a
they
lot
might
of
have a lot
mistakes
of mistakes
by
by
planning
planning
their future
their
alone.
future alone.
Yep. What are the two basic types of auxiliary verb in English? What are the two basic types of auxiliary verb in English? The two
The
basic
two
types
basic
of
types of
auxiliary verb in
auxiliary
English
verb in English
are primary
are primary
auxiliaries and
auxiliaries and
modal
modal
auxiliaries.
auxiliaries.
What are the primary auxiliaries? What are the primary auxiliaries? The primary
The primary
auxiliaries are
auxiliaries are
the verbs
the
be,
verb
have,
be, have,
and
and
do.
do.
Another, what about this one? What do we use the auxiliary verb be? When do we use the auxiliary verb be or auxiliary be? We use the
We use
auxiliary be.
auxiliary be.
The auxiliary be.
Auxiliary be.
The
The
auxiliary
auxiliary be.
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 Be. Yep, not be. To make the
To make
continuous
the
tenses
continuous tenses
and the passive voice. And the passive
and the
voice.
passive voice.
Yep, give me examples. Give me examples. I'm speaking
I'm
English
speaking
now.
English now.
This book was printed in England.
Huh?
This book
This
was.
book was printed in England.
Yep. Okay, another. What do we use the auxiliary have? What do we use the auxiliary have? We use the
We use the
auxiliary have.
auxiliary have.
For the past. For the no perfect tenses.
Perfect tenses.
Yeah, that was before. Again, another giving examples. Giving examples. He has gone to
He has gone to
Scotland.
Scotland.
Yep. What do we use the auxiliary do? What do we use the auxiliary do? We use the
We use the
auxiliary do
auxiliary do
for the present
for the
simple
present
and
simple and
past simple.
past simple.
Yep. Another giving examples. Give me an example, please. I don't
I
speak
don't speak
Spanish.
Spanish.
Did she eat the pasta?
Do you?
Did she eat
Did she eat pasta?
pasta? The pasta? Muted. Okay, another. So me, what are the 10 common models? What are the 10 common models? The 10
The
common
10 common
models are
models are
can, could, will,
can, could, will,
would, may,
would, may,
might,
might,
shall, should,
shall, should,
must,
must,
and
and
ought.
ought.
Yep. So what ideas do models normally express? What ideas do models normally express? Models normally
Models normally
express
express
ideas about
ideas about
necessity or
necessity or
possibility.
possibility.
Yep. All right. So now I will give you a sentence, and you will say a sentence with the same meaning, but with a model. Okay. So John is able to speak French. John is able to speak French. John can
John can
speak.
speak French.
Perhaps he works in a bank. Perhaps he works in a bank. He might
He
work in
might
a
work in a bank.
bank. Yep. Is it? It is necessary for me to go to bed now. It is necessary for me to go to bed now. I must go to
I
bed
must
now.
go to bed now.
Go. Okay, another. You are not allowed to smoke in this building. You are not allowed to smoke in this building. You can't
You can't
smoke
smoke
in this
in this
building.
building.
Yep. What do we put after a model? What do we put after a model? We put the
We put the
infinitive
infinitive
without to
without to
after a
after a
model.
model.
Yep. Give an example. Give an example. I must
I
send
must
this
send
email
this
today.
email today.
Which model is the only exception to this rule? Again, which model is the only exception to this rule? Ought is the only
Is the only
exception
exception
to this rule.
for this rule.
To this rule.
For this rule.
To this
To
rule.
this rule.
Yep. Give an example. Give an example. I ought to see
I
a
ought to
doctor.
see a doctor.
Yep. What does the word set mean in Japanese? What does the word set mean in Japanese? The word
The
set
word
means
set means oku
different in
in
Japanese.
Japanese.
Sit.
Setchusuru?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they said. Anyways, it's another. I have an idea. How do you say? Oh,
Oku.
oku. Okay, another. Sokka. How long is the time set for a game of football? How long is the time set for a game of football? The time set for a game of football.
The time set
Set for a game of
for a
football
game of football
is 90
is
minutes.
90
That
minutes.
is
That is
45 minutes each way.
45 minutes each way.
Yep. So, what kind of life do you think is better? A life where you have a set of time for doing everything, which means routine, such as eating and sleeping, etc., or a life where you do these things whatever you want, freelancer? What kind of life do you think is better? A life when you have a set of time for doing everything, such as eating, sleeping, etc., or a life where you do these things whenever you want? I think a life where do whatever whenever you want, or what?
Whenever I
Okay.
like.
All right. A life. I think a life where you
where
were
you were
where you where you
where you
where you
where
do
you
these
do these
things
things
whatever you want.
whenever I want. Oh,
It's
you
better
want?
you want is
It is
better
better
than
than
a life
a
where
life where
you have a
you
set
have
of
a set
time.
of time.
You have a set
You have a
time
set time
for doing
for
everything.
doing everything.
Another, so what they sat down on the table when I came to the room at the beginning of the lesson. What they sat down on the table when I came to the room at the beginning of the lesson. You sat
You set
your book
your book
down
down
on the
on
table
the
when
table when
you came
you
into the
came
room
into the room
at the beginning of
at
the
the beginning
lesson.
of the lesson.
If your watch isn't showing the right time, what do you have to do? If your watch isn't showing the right time, what do you have to do? If my watch
If my
isn't
watch isn't
showing,
showing,
my watch
my
isn't
watch isn't
showing
showing
the right
the
time,
right time,
I have to
I
set it
had to
right.
set it right.
Have to set
I
it right.
have to set it right.
Yeah, what time is sunrise at the moment? What time is sunrise at the moment? Sunrise is at
Sunrise
about
is at about 4:30
at the moment.
at the moment.
So early. Sunrise? So early. And what time is sunset? What time is sunset? Sunset is at
Sunset
about
is about
at about
7 p.m.
so late. And what do you consider to be the duty a person owes to the society in which they live? And what do you consider to be the duty a person owes to the society in which they live? I consider that the duty
the duty
a person
a
owes to the
person
society owes to the society,
to society,
the society
the society
in which they
in
live
which
is
they live is
to be
to
honest,
be honest,
hardworking,
hardworking,
etc.
etc.
Yep. So, what are the duties of a policeman? What are the duties of a policeman? The
The
duties of a
duties of a
policeman
policeman
are to give
are to
people
give people
help and
help and
information
information
and
and
information,
information,
catch criminals,
catch
etc.
criminals, etc.
Do policemen wear their uniforms when they're off duty? Again, do policemen wear the uniforms when they're off duty? No,
No
policemen
policemen
don't wear their
don't wear their
uniforms
uniforms
when they're off
when
duty.
they're off duty.
They only wear them
Only wear
when
them.
they
They
wear
only
them
wear them
when they're
when
on
they are
duty.
on duty.
Yep, if you brought a foreign car into that country, would you have to pay duty on it? Again, if you brought a foreign car into that country, would you have to pay duty on it? Yes, if I
Yes,
brought
if I
a
brought a foreign
car into this country,
car in this country,
into this
into
country,
this country,
I'd have to
I
pay
have
duty
to
on it.
pay duty on it.
Yep, me. And if you didn't pay, what did happen? If you didn't pay, what did happen? If I didn't
If I
pay,
didn't pay,
they might
they
make me
might make me
pay a
pay a
fine,
fine,
and even
and
take the
even
car away,
take
the car
the car
away from.
away from me.
Yep. What are the various ways of learning a language? What are the various ways of learning a language? The
The
various ways.
various way,
So cute. The
the
various ways
various way
of learning a
of
language
learning
are
language are
are at school with
at
a
school
teacher,
with a teacher,
going to the
going to the
country
country
where the language
where
is
the language
spoken,
is spoken,
practicing with a friend,
practicing with a friend,
listening to the radio,
listen to the radio,
listening to the
listening to
radio,
their radio,
to the
to the
radio,
radio,
watching TV,
watching
etc.
TV, etc.
Yep. Is there much entertainment for teenagers in your hometown? Is there much entertainment for teenagers in your hometown? No, there isn't
There
much
isn't much
entertainment
entertainment
for
for
teenagers
teenagers
in my
in my
hometown.
hometown.
Nothing to think. Nothing. Okay, an example. Another is the weight of these. For example, only two chairs here. My chairs here very small. Again, about equal. Again, only example. They are. So is the weight of these two chairs about equal? Yes. The weight
Yes,
of those two
the
chairs
weight of those two chairs
is about
is
equal.
about equal.
Yeah, what if equal? About equal.
About
Another.
equal.
Would you find it interesting to operate a factory machine? Would you find it interesting to operate a factory machine? No, I wouldn't find
I
it
wouldn't find it
interesting
interesting
to operate a
to
factory
operate a
machine.
factory machine
Why not? Why not? Because I'm not
because
into it.
I'm not into it.
She's into chocolate, guys. Okay. Okay. Another. Have you ever had an operation in hospital? Have you ever had an operation in hospital? Yes. No.
Yes.
Yes, I've had
I've
an
had an
operation
operation in
in
hospital.
hospital. Yep. Okay. Another. Give me a sentence containing the words "by the time, please." Give me a sentence containing the words "by the time, please." By the
By
time
the
she
time
gets
she
here,
gets here,
dinner will be
dinner
ready.
will be ready. Yay.
So lucky. Okay, another. So, what does by the time mean in that sentence? Again, what does by the time mean in the sentence? By the
By
time
the
in that
time in that
sentence
sentence
means at some
means
point,
at some
between now and
between now and
when she gets
when she
here.
gets here.
Yeah, by the time you are 90 years old, me, you're 90. If you suppose your hair will be gray, by the time you are 90 years old, you suppose your hair will be gray. Yes, by the
Yes, by
time
the time
I'm 90 years
I'm
old,
90 years old,
I suppose
I
my hair
suppose my hair
will be gray.
will be gray.
No need to wait. It's already gray. Again, another one. Me too. So stressed. Oh. So stressed. No chocolate. Oh, okay. Another. Will your English have improved by this time next month? Will your English have improved? Yeah, by this time next month. Yes, my English
Yes,
will
my
have
English
improved
will have improved
by this time
by
next
this
month.
time next month.
Yep, next month.
Next month.
Can you speak English as well as you speak your own language? Can you speak English as well as you speak your own language? No, I can't
No, I
speak
can't
English
speak English
as well
as
as I
well
speak
as
my
I
own
speak my own
language.
language.
I speak it
I speak
worse
it worse
than my own
than my own
language.
language.
I think you're better in English than Japanese. She's already native, guys. Yeah, ask her in Japanese. You will be like, Okay, another. Do you take English lessons on Sunday as well as during the week? Again, do you take English lessons on Sunday as well as during the week? Yes, no.
Yes.
I take
I
English
take
lessons
English
on Sunday
lessons on Sunday
as well as during
as
the week.
well as during the week.
Yep. So, what does the last question mean? That, in other words, again, what does last question mean? In other words, that last
That
question
last
means
question mean that
last
last
question
question
means
means
you take
you
English
take
lessons
English
in the week
lessons in a week
during the week.
during the week.
But do you
But
also take English
do you
lessons?
also
Take
take
English
English
lessons
lessons
on
on
Sunday.
Sunday?
Okay, another. What is the difference between the words older and elder? What is the difference between the words older and elder? The
The
difference
difference
between
between
the words
the
older
words
and
older
elder
and
is
elder
is that
is that
elder is
elder
that
is that
we generally
we
use the word
generally use the word elder
when speaking
when
about
speaking
people
about people
in the same
in the
family,
same family,
and we cannot
and we
say
cannot say
elder than.
elder than.
Yep. So have you got an elder brother? Have you got an elder brother? Yes, I've got
Yes,
an
I've
elder
got an
brother.
elder brother.
I've got
I've
an
got
elder
an
brother.
elder brother.
Yep. Are you the eldest in your family? Are you the eldest in your family? No, I'm not
And
the
I'm not
eldest
the
in mine.
eldest in my family.
Who is my papa?
My
My papa. Hi, papa. Okay, another. So, what is the difference to let and to rent? What is the difference between to let and to rent? The
The
difference
difference
between
between
to let
to
and to
let
rent
and
is
to
that.
rent is that
Yep. To let
to let
means
means
to lend
to lend
something
something
in exchange
in
for money,
exchange for money,
whereas to rent
whereas to
means
lend means
to rent
to rent
means
means
to borrow
to borrow
things
things
or
or
something
something
in
in
exchange for money.
exchange for money.
Supposing you had a house or a flat to let, how would you advertise it? Again, supposing you had a house or a flat to let, how would you advertise it? Supposing I had a
Supposing I had
house
a house
or a flat
or
to
a
let,
flat to let,
I'd advertise
I'd advertise
it in
it in
the
the
newspaper
newspaper
on the internet
the internet
or on the
or on
internet.
the internet.
Yep. So what is the average monthly rent for a small flat in that town? Here in the Philippines, it's like 2,000 yen or 1,000 yen. What about you? What is the average monthly rent for a small flat in that town? The average
The average
monthly
monthly
rent
rent
for a small
for
flat
a
in this
small flat
town
in this town
is
is
which one?
80,000 yen.
What? Who's that?
Don't know.
The whole
Maybe.
house? Yes, guys. Here in the Philippines, it's very reasonable. Come, welcome to the Philippines. Promoting. Yeah, right? It's more fun here. And again, how much does it cost to rent a car for one day in that town? How much does it cost to rent a car for one day in that town? It costs
It
about
costs about
how much
10,000 yen
to rent a
to
car for
rent a
one day
car for one day
in this
in
town?
this town.
I think it's good. It's okay, depending on the car. And again, do you ever rent DVDs to watch at home? Again, do you ever rent DVDs to watch at home? Yes, no. To
No.
watch, no. Because it says I never. So maybe yes, sometimes. Yes, I
Yes,
sometimes
I
rent
sometimes rent
DVDs to watch at
DVDs to
home.
watch at home
Yes.
because I buy,
What?
not
I
rent.
did. Well, so no, I never
I
rent
never rent
DVDs
DVDs
to watch at
to
home.
watch at home.
Let's go back, guys. What are the things that people boast about? Woohoo! I don't rent, I buy. Whoa! Again, is it common in your country for people to rent out rooms in their house to students, for example? Is it common in your country for people to rent out rooms in their house to students, for example? Yes, no. No, it isn't common in
It
my
isn't
country
common in my
for
country
people to
for
rent
people
out
to
rooms
rent out rooms
in their
in
house
their house
to students, for example.
for
To
to
students, for
students,
example.
for example.
Yep, what the three forms of fall? What the forms of fall? The three
The
forms of
three
fall
forms
are
of fall are
fall, fell,
fall, fell,
fallen.
fallen.
Yep, have you ever fallen out of bed in the middle of the night? Have you ever fallen out of bed in the middle of the night? Yes, I've fallen out of bed.
Yes, I've fallen out
Fallen
of
out of
bed
bed in the middle
in
of
the
the night.
middle of the night.
Yeah. Okay, I mean not fallen, she's pushing. Okay. Another, what is the past of the verb to choose? What's the past of the verb to choose? The past
The
of the verb to
past of the
choose
verb to choose
is
is
chose.
chose.
Did you choose the clothes you're wearing yourself? Did you choose the clothes you're wearing yourself? Yes, I
Yes,
chose
I
the
chose the
clothes
clothes
I'm wearing
I'm
myself.
wearing myself.
Yep, what do you suppose football is? What do you suppose football is such a popular game? What do you suppose football is such a popular game? I suppose
I suppose
football is
football is
such a
such a
popular game
popular
because
game because
it's easy to
it's easy
play.
to play.
Yep, why is a desert such a difficult place to live in? Why is a desert such a difficult place to live in? A desert
The
is such
desert is such
a
a
difficult place to
difficult
live
place
in
to live in
because there is so
because
little
there is
water.
so little
Little
water.
water. Is a soldier's uniform provided for him by the government? Is a soldier's uniform provided for him by the government? Yes, a
A
soldier's
soldier's
uniform.
uniform,
A soldier's
our
uniform.
soldiers'
A
our
soldier's uniform
soldiers' uniform
is provided
is
for him
provided by
for him,
for him by
the
the
government.
government.
How do parents provide for the children? How do parents provide for the children? Parents
Parents
provide for the
provide for their
children
children
by making
by
sure
making sure
they have they have all
they
the
have
things
all the things
they need in
they
life.
need in life.
They need in
They
life.
need in life.
Yeah, you're making sure. Okay, another. If you had just bought a house, Mia, and then someone told you that there was a ghost in it, so what would you providing? Of course, you believe in ghosts. If you had just bought a house and then someone told there was a ghost in it, what would you do? Providing, of course, you believed in ghosts. If I had
If
just
I
bought a
had
house
just bought a house
and then someone
and
told
then
me
someone told
told
me
me there was a ghost
that
in
there
it,
was a ghost in it,
I'd what?
I'd sell it.
Okay, providing
Providing
I believed
I
in
believe
ghosts.
in ghost.
But ghosts are afraid of you too. Oh my gosh, another renter. Oh, I sell it to you. I sell it too. Again, are you going to go straight home after the lesson? Only example, are you going to go straight home after the lesson? Yes, I'm going
Yes,
to
I'm going
go
to go
straight home after the
straight home
lesson.
after lesson.
The
The
lesson.
lesson.
Yep. If you came to some crossroads while driving a car and instead of stopping you kept straight on what might happen if you came to some crossroads while driving a car and instead of stopping you kept straight on what had happened or what might happen if I came
If
to
I
some
came to some
crossroads
crossroads
while driving a
while
car
driving a car
and instead of
and
stopping
And
instead of stopping,
I
kept
straight
on. An accident might happen.
An accident might happen.
Yep. How many days does a fortnight consist of? On a beach. How many days does a fortnight consist of? A fortnight consists of.
A fortnight consists
of 14 days.
Of 14 days.
Yep. What do we have to place an egg carefully on the table? What do we have to place an egg carefully on the table? We have to place an
egg carefully on the table.
Because it could
easily break.
Yep. So in which month does the academic year commence in your country? In which month does the academic year commence in your country? The academic year commences in which one? April in my country. Yep. So another, what's my hand doing? What's my hand doing? Your hand is appearing and disappearing. Yep. So does it appear to you that people in the world are becoming happier or less happy? Does it appear to you that people in the world are becoming happier or less happy? It appears to me that in what people in the world are becoming
happier.
Why? Because the world now is getting more innovated. Yes, right? Hi guys, innovated guys. Anyway, do you judge people by appearances or do you wait until you get to know them well? Do you judge people by appearances or do you wait until you get to know them well? I judge people.
I judge people
by appearances. You can tell, guys. You can go on to the previous stages. You're short. You're like this. You're wicked. Yeah, do you want to remember, guys? Yeah, which way of judging is fair? Yeah, but me is so great, guys. Don't worry. Yeah, but so which way? Yeah, she will have long hair though. So which way of judging is fairer? Judging people are what? Not good, right? So judging people after getting to know them well is fair. Yes, meaning guys, me knows me. That's why she can bully me. Terrible. Okay, another. If you double the number 25, me, what do we get? If we double the number 25, what do we get? If we double the number 25, we get
50.
Yep. What is a double bed? How is a double bed? A double bed is about double the width of a single bed. Yep. Do you have trouble remembering all the rules of grammar in English? Do you have trouble remembering all the rules of grammar in English? Yes, I have trouble remembering all the rules of grammar in English. Grammar in English. Yep. So when children get into trouble, do they sometimes tell lies in order to get themselves out of trouble? When children get into trouble, do they sometimes tell lies in order to get themselves out of trouble? Yes. When children get into trouble, they sometimes tell lies in order to get themselves out of trouble. Themselves out of trouble. Yep, me, when you are reading a book in your own language and you see a word you don't know the meaning of, do you take the trouble to look it up in a dictionary or do you just keep on reading? Again, when you are reading a book in your own language and you see a word that you don't know the meaning of, do you take the trouble to look it up in a dictionary or do you just keep on reading? When I'm reading a book in my own language and I see a word I don't know the meaning of, I take the trouble to look it up in a dictionary. She does, guys. Just that she cannot. She doesn't like to answer. Like another. Do dreams sometimes trouble you at night? Do dreams sometimes trouble at night? No, dreams never trouble me at night. Yeah, she's really cat sleeper, guys. Like another. So, what do you think is the trouble with modern life? What do you think is the trouble with modern life? I think the trouble with modern life is gadget addiction. Addiction. Yep. So they don't sleep anymore, right? Anyways, etc. Yeah, what do we double the final consonant of an adjective informing its comparative and its superlative? Again, what do we double the final consonant of an adjective informing its comparative and superlative? We double the final consonant. Double the final consonant of an adjective in forming its comparative and superlative when it ends in a single consonant. Ends in a single consonant. Not consonant. Preceded by a single vowel. By a single vowel. Give me examples. Thin, thinner than. The thinnest. Yep, let's move down. So what happens when an adjective ends in a consonant plus y? What happens when an adjective ends in a consonant plus y? When an adjective ends in a consonant plus y, the y is changed to I. Give an example. Give me some, please. Luckier
Luckier
than
than
the
the
luckiest.
luckiest.
Give an example of the word though, please. Give me an example of the word though, please. I didn't like the
didn't
food.
like the food
He,
he
he
cooked.
cooked. I ate it though.
I ate it though.
Yep, though she was feeling ill.
The,
Though she was
though
feeling
she
ill.
was feeling ill,
Yep, she went on the
she
business
went
trip.
on the business trip.
Yep, me. When you have something unpleasant to do, do you delay doing it or do you do it at once without delay? When you do something or when you have something unpleasant to do, do you delay doing it or do you do it at once without delay? When I have
When I
something
have
unpleasant to
something
do,
unpleasant to do,
I delay
I
doing it.
delay doing it.
Which is better than to delay doing things or to do things at once without delay? Which is better than to delay doing things or do things or to do things at once without delay? It's usually better to
better to
do things
do
at
things
once
at once
without delay.
without delay.
Yep, when people are late for lessons, what kind of things have usually delayed them? When people are late for lessons, what kind of things have usually delayed them? When people
When
are late for lessons, pupils
pupils
are late
are late
for
for
lessons.
lessons,
The kind of
the
things
kind
that
of
have
things that
have usually delayed them are
delay them are
oversleeping,
oversleeping,
etc.
etc.
And what must you do before you walk across, or what must you do before you walk across the road? I must look both
I
ways,
must look both
both ways
ways
before
before
I walk
I
across
walk
the road.
across the road.
What can you see across the street from the window? What can you see across the street from the window? I can see some trees.
I can see
I can
some
see some
trees
trees across the
across
street
the street
from this
from
window.
this window.
If you can't get across a river by bridge, how can you get across? If you can't get across a river by bridge, how can you get across? If I can't
If I
get
can't
across
get across
a river by
a river
bridge,
by
I
bridge,
can get
I can
across
get
by boat,
across by boat,
across by boat,
boat,
or by
or
swimming
by
across.
swimming across.
Good luck. If you're walking in forest and suddenly came across a tiger, what do you do? If you're walking in forest and suddenly came across a tiger, what do you do? If I were
If I
walking
were
in a
walking in a
forest
forest
and suddenly
and
came
suddenly
across
came across
a
a
tiger,
tiger,
a tiger,
a tiger,
I play dead.
I played it.
A tiger. Again, if a lift isn't working, what do we have to do? If a lift isn't working, what do we have to do? If a lift
If a
isn't
lift isn't
working,
working,
we have to
we
take the
have to take
stairs.
the stairs.
Do you think it's possible to tell a person's character just by looking at their face? Do you think it's possible to tell a person's character just by looking at their face? Yes, no.
No,
No, I don't think
I
it's
don't think it's
possible to
possible to
tell a person's
tell a person's
character
character
just by
just
looking
by
at
looking at
their
their
face.
face.
Can we often tell where somebody comes from by their accent? Can we often tell where somebody comes from by their accent? Yes, we can
Yes, we
often
can
tell
often tell
where somebody
where
comes from
somebody comes from
by their accent.
by their accent.
Yep. When you arrive at a hotel, what do you check in? When you arrive at a hotel, what do you check in? When I
When
arrive
I
at a
arrive
hotel,
at a hotel,
I check
I
in
check
at
in at
the reception desk.
the reception desk.
And what does the receptionist hand you when you finish checking in? And what does the receptionist hand you when you've finished checking in? The
The
receptionist
receptionist
hands me the
hands me
key
the key
to the
to
room
the
when
room when
I've
I've
finished checking
finished
in.
checking in.
On the day you leave at the hotel, what time do you usually have to check out by? On the day you leave at the hotel, what time do you usually have to check out by? On the day I leave at a
On the
hotel,
day I
I leave
leave at the
at a
hotel,
hotel. I usually
I
have to check
usually
out
have to
by
check out by
noon.
noon.
Yep. Again, at the airport, do you usually check in all your luggage, or do you carry some of it onto the plane with you? At the airport, do you usually check in all your luggage, or do you carry some of it onto the plane with you? At the airport,
At the
I
airport,
usually
I
carry some
usually
of my
carry
luggage
some of my luggage
onto the plane
onto
with
the
me.
plane with me.
If someone says things about you which are not true, do you think it's better to defend yourself or just keep quiet? If someone says things about you which are not true, do you think it's better to defend yourself or just keep quiet? If someone
If
says
someone says
things
things
about me which
about
are
me
not
which are
true,
not true,
I think it's
I
better
think it's
to
better to
just keep quiet.
just keep quiet.
Yeah, right? So that they won't go on. Okay, another. And what occasions do we say congratulations to people? On what occasions do we say congratulations to people? We say
We say
congratulations
congratulations
to
to
people when they
people when
pass an
they pass
exam,
an exam,
get
get
married, have a
married, have a
baby,
baby,
etc.
etc.
Congratulations, me.
Yay.
See you when I see you through stage 7 again. Again. With the word again. Yes, guys, because it's almost like 100 times already. Yeah, right? She has never given up her ambition. Yeah, so let's help each other. Doo-doo-doo-doo. Pew. Yep, congratulations, Mia. So see you when I see you then. Bye. Have a good day.